the spring term 2025. I just mostly wanted you to see my face before we got started. My name is McHugh, and you see her pronouns. But let me, and this is my office. All my rocks, those are all my rocks. I'm on Skagit campus in Mount Vernon, so you're welcome to pop by and say hi. We'll talk about that here in a second. Slideshow. Okay, welcome. Environmental Science 101. So this course is an introduction into environmental science. You can see I've hidden my little babies up there, which you'll meet here in a second. So this is your syllabus, your welcome introductory video. This is gonna give you an outline for all of the things that you will need for this class to succeed. So we're going to talk about, in this PowerPoint, we're going to talk about what this course is, my course objectives, the materials that you'll need, academic integrity, my expectations, and communication within this course. A little bit about me. I actually have 3.5 degrees. I have 2 bachelor's degrees. My first one was in costume design, but I specialized in hair and wig design, and I ended up working at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for half a decade before I decided I didn't want to do that again. I guess right after this degree, I went and got licensed as a cosmetologist. I am a licensed cosmetologist in 3 states. I don't really do it anymore. Sometimes I'll cut hair on the side, but that was my past life now. And I have, so I finished theater and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I went back to get my bachelor's in geology from Oregon State University, and I finished that in 2021, right at the end of COVID. And then I jumped straight into my master's at Western, and that's in organic geochemical oceanography. And that was actually in paleoclimate, and I reconstructed vegetation over the Puget Sound, Salish Sea area. So I actually have quite a bit of environmental science background. And I'm really excited I love teaching this class. This is the 3rd time I've taught this class. But I love it. It changes every time. I'm super stoked about it. So I go by McHugh, but my real name is Emily McQuarrie. I guess my full name is Emily McQuarrie. You can call me Emily. You can call me Ms. McQuarrie, although that hurts my soul a little bit, makes me feel old. But I will respond to basically any name that you need to call me, with pretty general set of boundaries there. My office hours this term are going to be Mondays and Fridays from 10 to 11. I have them online. I will also be here in this office. So if you're taking this class, but you're in person at Skagit for other classes, I will be here. I basically live here on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Here's my email. We will talk my email here in a second. My kitties, my babies. So this is Harry on the left. It's he's very deceptive, very manipulative. This is saying, come and rub my belly, and then he will rip you to shreds. And in fact, my right hand is just entirely covered in claw and bite marks from this little monster, but I love him. He's 17 pounds, if you're wondering. And then this is Henry. She's perfect. She can do no wrong. So this class, it's an introductory lab course into environmental science for non-majors. So you're probably not majoring in a science field or a STEM field. And the purpose of this class is to understand the human relationship with the environment, to understand how humans are impacting the environment, to have a better idea at the smaller impacts and the larger impacts, chemically, physically, and biologically. And my ultimate goal for this class, I actually have a few, and I didn't say them all in this little bullet point, is to leave this class with an empathetic outlook to our environment and understand better ways to take care of the environment. But one of my other overarching goals for this course is, when I've taught this class previously, I get a lot of students who have really bad climate anxiety, rightfully so, right? Climate anxiety, environmental anxiety, all of this fear of not really knowing what the future holds. Totally valid. So my plan for this course is to set you up with the education that you need to better understand how to help the environment and what components actually affect environmental change, and how mostly it's not individual impact that is impacting our environment negatively. It is big corporations, it is big oil, it is the economy, it is the unfortunately the political situation that we are in now. So it's not an individual responsibility. And I think it's important to sort of take that load off your shoulders and realize that, yeah, it's important to maybe not use as much plastic, absolutely. But to think that your ecologic footprint is so important that it's impacting the environment as a whole is what I want to quell. I want to quell those fears for this class, and let's find better ways to use that energy and figure out who to fight to make this a better place for everybody. So environmental science as a whole is just the relationship between humans, the environment, and the environment. We're going to talk about how we affect the environment, but also how the environment affects humans. And this is not so it's not considered a hard science in that it's mathy and you're going to be solving equations and you're going to be doing physics and chemistry, and it's not quite like that. It's more statistical. We're going to be looking at data analysis, but we're going to be looking at subjective science like policy and some overarching biological and ecological concepts that aren't, let's solve this equation. But we will be looking at data and how are we analyzing this data. Oh, we'll be looking into, actually, we're going to go over this in a second, so I'll just move forward. This class is entirely online and asynchronous. What this means is that you set your own schedule. I love asynchronous classes. I took a few when I was a student, and they're really nice if you have a job and you have a family and you're trying to work around a life. However, because it is so autonomous, the biggest issue that I see with students, and I don't fail students often. I don't like failing students. I'm not out to fail students. But the students who do fail are students who cannot manage their time appropriately. Because I give you everything that you need. I set up your modules with all of the information that you will need for the next 2 weeks. You have access to the links. You have access to those homeworks and those labs. So it is on you, it is your responsibility to set aside time and find that time to work on that module. So my best advice for time management in this course is to set a schedule, to stick to it, and don't try to do everything all at once. You will get frustrated, you'll get overwhelmed, you'll get angry, you'll curse my name out, which is fine. That's happened before. But just keep that in mind. And if you are struggling with time management, if this is a skill that you are still learning and building upon, that's totally fine. I have another video that I link on the first page of Canvas that is my tips and tricks to time management. And I've been a student for 11 years, so I'm still not perfect with time management, but what I will say is I have some really great techniques that work really well for me that you're welcome to utilize. So check that out if you are not sure how to manage your time for this class, and communicate with me. Keep in mind, the only communication that I have with you as an online class is through videos, through announcements, which is so important, and I say this many times in this PowerPoint. Please turn on your announcement notifications. That is how I contact you. That is how I communicate with the class as a whole. I send out announcements as I post each module, after I post grades. If there's anything important that I need to sort of convey to the class, it's always through an announcement. So please turn on your announcement notifications. Make sure your announcements are coming through your email. I'm happy to answer any and all emails, and I'm pretty good at getting back relatively quickly, give and take. Give me some time over the weekends, but 1 to 2 hour responses on the weekdays. And I have a set time in another slide. I think it's 8 to 6. You'll probably see a response within 1 to 2 hours. This is the thumbnail link for my tips and tricks for time management video that you should watch if you are worried about time management. Okay, if you email me, which you should, happy to receive emails. I love responding to emails, and I love the questions that you get because it is one of the only ways I can interact with you as my students. But please note that I am teaching 5 classes this term, which means I have 125 students. If you are sending me an email that says, "Hey, McHugh, not even that. Sorry. If you're sending me an email that just says, I'm really lost on the homework this week, you're gonna be like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what class you're taking. I don't know what homework you're asking about. Do you even go here? Please, for the love of all that is holy, in the subject line of the email, type the class that you are taking, Environmental Science 101, and the topic of your email. Homework question. That's it. That's all you got to post. Because your name will either come through on the actual email link, or you will also write in the email body your full name. So say, hi, McHugh, this is Emily McQuarrie. I'm taking your environmental science class, your environmental science 101 class at Skagit. And then you can say, I'm really confused about the homework this week. What are your expectations? Which you should already have, but that's just a general idea. I will be accessible weekdays, Monday through Friday from 8 to 6. I will likely not check emails on the weekends. That's not altogether true. I do tend to check my emails at least once on a Saturday and once on a Sunday because I'm doing so many online classes that I want to make sure that if there are any questions that I need to field, I'm doing that. But keep that in mind. I'll just be checking them once on the weekends. The materials that you need. You do not need to buy a textbook for this class. I think paying $200 for a textbook is a scam, especially one that you'll probably only use once. For major classes, I have a different opinion, but for non-science major classes, you do not need to buy a textbook. I think that's silly. So this is your free online textbook. It's got clickable chapters. I link them in every single module that you have based on what you will need to read for that week, for that module. You will need access to Canvas. And here, I put in extra aggressive words. Turn on notifications. Turn on your announcement notifications, please, for all that is holy. Turn them on. And check your grades frequently, because if you are failing and you don't see that until week 8, I might not be able to help you troubleshoot that issue. So make sure you're checking your grades. Make sure you have access to YouTube. All of my lectures and videos are going to be posted to YouTube. And I also have at least 2 that I remember at the time, if not 3 videos and documentaries that you get to watch for this class that will be on YouTube. So make sure you have access to YouTube. So overarchingly here, these 2 points are essentially saying, make sure you have access to Wi-Fi. If you are gone for a week and you're in Mexico and you're living your best life in the warmth and the sun and the joy, but you don't have access to Wi-Fi and you miss an assignment, I'm not going to accept that when you get back and you're like, oh, I didn't realize we had an assignment. That's on you. That is part of your responsibility of taking an online asynchronous class, is make sure you have access to Wi-Fi if you are taking this class. Oh my God. This is okay. This is the silliest thing. I posted the wrong schedule on my geology class, and apparently I did that to you guys too. So I'll get rid of this slide. This is for my geology class. But you guys have this schedule. So these are your modules and your grading rubric. We're going to start with scientific theory, which I'm really excited about. We have some cool assignments here. We're going to do evolution and ecology, climate change, population ecology, human health, food availability, water availability, and environmental policy. Now, what I want to make clear about this schedule is that each module, I mentioned briefly, is going to be open for 2 weeks. You will have 2 weeks from the open date, which is always a Monday. I turn on each module on a Monday. You will have it until 2 weeks on Monday. So unfortunately, this week you won't get it until the Tuesday, so tomorrow, just because Monday is not a class. And then the due date is in 2 Mondays from now. But I post a new module every week, which means that scientific theory and evolution are going to overlap for a week. The only one this week is going to be scientific theory, but next Monday, you don't have anything due next Monday, but next Monday on the 14th, you will have module 2 open. And you'll have 2 weeks for evolution, which means that evolution and ecology are going to overlap. So keep that in mind as you're doing these modules. You will have plenty of time to do them, but they're going to overlap with other modules so that you have extra time for each module. So you have time to troubleshoot issues. I just thought this was a really nice system that I inherited, and I was like, I'm going to keep this. This is a great system. And most of the students that I've had in the past really like this system too. They get the full 2 weeks to do it, but they do overlap. So you'll have plenty of work to be doing each week. You also have case studies starting after module 2, case study 1. And what this is, my case studies, you have 2 of them. They're essentially projects, but they're interactive projects. Because in these modules, you don't really have the chance to interact with your peers and your friends and other classmates. So I built these 2 case studies in. I actually haven't even figured out what case study 1's going to be yet. So TBD. I do know what case study 2 is going to be. But what they are is you're going to post on a discussion forum once a week. The first post, and I go over this in another video for you, but the first post is essentially you're doing research on a topic and you're posting that research on discussion. And then the second post is you are responding to a few of your peers' initial research comments. And then this third week, you are responding to the comments that were put on your original research comment. So you get the chance to interact with your peers and go through some other environmental science topics that we don't, or maybe don't cover here, or they're very specific. So we'll talk more about that as we get to the case studies. But your case studies are an exception in that you'll have a week to do each discussion post. But I don't want to say it's less work, but it's not a homework and it's not a lab. It's research and a discussion. Academic integrity. Don't cheat. It should be pretty self-explanatory. Please do your own work. Show me what you know. And this is a big one. Unless otherwise stated, and the case studies are the exception to this, 1 to 3 sentences are probably going to be sufficient in answering the questions in your homeworks and your labs for this course. You do not need to write a novel to answer a question about, tell me about trophic systems in boreal forests. You don't need to write paragraphs for that. I mean, actually, maybe for that particular question that just came to my head, you might. But the ones that I will actually ask in your assignments will only need 1 to 3 sentences. And maybe you're like, oh God, I need 5 sentences for this answer. That's fine. I'm not gonna like count the sentences, but I have in the past gotten paragraphs and paragraphs of an answer, and they're covering concepts and topics that we've never talked about that are not part of the curriculum. That I'm like, you copied and pasted this from somewhere. And 9 times out of 10, it's ChatGPT. ChatGPT has a very distinct format, and I've gotten copy and paste with that format, and I'm like, I can't accept this. This is ChatGPT. And you will get a 0 for that. If you cheat, I am required to report you to the school. It is not fun. It's so much work on my end. Please don't make me do it. And don't copy from other people. Easy peasy. Easy peasy McPeasy pants. My big forms of cheating are just copying and pasting from websites like ChatGPT and other AI. However, let's talk AI because even I use AI. I'm not saying don't ever use AI. It's a great system. It's a great format. I'm experimenting with this course and integrating AI into assignments and research projects, and you might use it for your case studies in a way. You are going to use it for the homework one. It's part of your first homework assignment. But I don't want you to copy and paste from ChatGPT. So when you use ChatGPT, if you're asking AI, okay, I guess I should back up. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, what it is it is a generative AI. And what that means is you type in a question. I guess I can go for it. You type in a question and it spits out an answer. And the way that it finds this answer is it's searching the entire interwebs, everything. This vast amount of information. It searches and it's plucking the best answer. That does not mean it is the right answer. And this is a big problem with science. If you're typing in a scientific question and it is spitting out an answer, it might be correct, but it is not a great resource to use for science-based questions. However, I have 100% used it to be like, what are some great resources if I'm looking to figure out ecology in boreal forests? And it'll give me some great, oh, you should use this website, you should use this website, you should use this resource. Awesome. That is a great way to use ChatGPT. But if you're writing out, tell me what a trophic system is in boreal forests, and it spits out an answer, It might be either too specific or too broad, or it might bring in facets of this question that don't pertain to what I'm asking. So if you're using AI to help answer a question, make sure you are reading the answer, understanding what it is that you're trying to explain, and you're rewriting that in your own answer, in your own words, I should say. So I'm not opposed to ChatGPT, okay, and other AI, but make sure that you're understanding what it is that you are utilizing from ChatGPT. I have failed many an assignment that has used AI, and I will do it again. But homework one will utilize ChatGPT, and I'm super excited about it. Late work. So because of the parameters that I have set for this class, in that you have 2 weeks to do each module, I do not accept late work in this class. And I'm going to be super stickler about this for this term because I'm teaching so many online classes and I just have an overwhelming amount of assignments to grade this term. And I myself, as a time managing person, have set not super strict right now, but I will be setting a super strict schedule on when I grade assignments. So if you haven't submitted an assignment and you try to email that to me, I'm unfortunately not gonna be able to take it. Because you have the 2 weeks to do each module, this is plenty of time. I will not extend deadlines. It is your responsibility to work through the module on a timely manner. What I will say to this is, yes, there are extenuating circumstances that I will consider. This is all about communication. This is where you need to communicate with me, talk to me, email me, show up to my Zoom hours. I don't need all of the personal details. It's none of my business. It is not your obligation to tell me that your grandmother died and that you have to go to the funeral and it's a whole thing. That is not your obligation. You're not required to tell me that information. But if there is an extenuating circumstance, I need to know beforehand and not after the fact. That's super important. And yes, life happens and I can be amenable, but it's very, 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 very rare that I am amenable to this assignment, deadline, late work policy. Finally, I will be relatively amenable with the first module because this is where we're learning things. We're understanding how to upload assignments, what not to do, what to do, what's working, what's not working. So there might be a few instances where I'll email you and be like, hey, this isn't showing up in the correct format, do it this way. And you might be able to re-upload, but it definitely won't be a, hey, I forgot to do this, can I do it now? No. If you've already submitted something and I've seen you submit something, but it's just a little bit funky, the first module is the only module that I have been amenable to fixing that because we're figuring it out. I get that. The please do nots. Oh God, please, please, please do not. Do not email me your assignments. Again, I'm teaching 4 classes at Skagit and 1 at Whatcom. You will get lost. It will get lost. It will get drowned out by the 500 other emails that I receive every single day that I show up to Skagit. So if you email me an assignment, it's not going to get graded. I won't even really look at it. Same with if you send me a Google link for me to access. I won't do it. And that's because in the past, I've had people send me Google links, and even when they say, add Emily McQuarrie as a contributing author or whatever, I have always, no exceptions, always still had to request access. And it drives me crazy. It takes too much time. I will forget about it. I will not click Google links. I won't even tap them anymore. So if you submit a Google link, you're going to get a 0. Just don't do it. Communicate with me. If you are struggling, email me. If you have a question, email me. If you're not sure about some of the accessibility resources the school offers, please email me or come to my office hours. Here's my email. Show up to my office hours. Happy to troubleshoot issues with you via Zoom. It'll be fun. When you turn in labs, a few things. So this is not the case necessarily for online asynchronous classes, and I'll show you why here in a second, but generally, you're going to be submitting a Word doc that you've typed your information into. I have in the past had students who want to print it out and handwrite the answers. That's totally fine. I have no problem with that. But when you do that and you turn in labs that look like this, I cannot read these. I cannot grade what I cannot read. You will get a 0 on these assignments. This one's beautiful. This one's legible. It's readable. I love it. It's clean. Submit something like this, please. And when you do submit, you will submit a single PDF of that file. I will not open 16 images. I also don't accept JPEGs, so you cannot upload JPEGs into Canvas. Only PDFs or Word docs. If you do not know how to do that, that's what the first module is about. We're going to figure it out. When you submit, always go back and check and make sure that you turned in the correct assignment, that you turned in the assignment that you did. I have gotten a lot of assignments that were my blank one that they just misread the title, like, oh, that's the one I want. But you need to upload the one that you have edited with your answers, or else what am I grading? Make sure the pages are legible. Make sure that you've turned in all of the pages. Sometimes you turn in a lab and you're missing 2 pages. And I'm like, where are the other 2 pages of this lab? What the heck? What happened? So always 100% click on the link that you have just submitted to make sure that I am receiving what you want me to receive. Because if you submit a blank page, which has happened, if you submit the wrong assignment and it comes past due, because I won't check these things until after they're due and I'm starting to grade them, I cannot accept the real assignment. And if you've worked really hard on an assignment and you still turn in the wrong one, I can't take that assignment. So please double check that you are turning in the correct material, because it happens every term, without doubt. Somebody or several people turn in the wrong assignment or turn in a blank page, or any other issue. You have the power to double check that, so double check that. And finally, I welcome constructive criticism. These points are mostly for my in-person classes, but what I will say to that is, like last term, I had a case study, and they actually had to write a report for the case study, which I have cut out for this term. You are welcome. And the parameters were really intense. And I had a student email me, and she's like, I love this assignment. However, I am so overwhelmed. I cannot find sources for some of the questions that you were asking. I can't. It's taking me so much time. It was a 3-page paper. She was like, I have so much information. It's going to be like 7 pages at this point. I don't know what to do. And I was like, oh, well, I can fix that. And so I went in and I changed those parameters to really simplify that assignment. And that is absolutely something that you should email me about, because I don't want you to feel like you have busy work. Yes, you will have a lot of work this term, but I want it to be critical thinking work. I want you to get something out of these assignments and not feel like, oh, well, here we go. I'm just doing this. It shouldn't be like that. And I also don't want you to feel so overwhelmed in an introductory course that you are spending 50 hours a week doing these assignments. So this is the 3rd time I have taught this class, and I'm pretty set in some of the assignments that I have, but there are some that I'm still experimenting with. So if there's something that you're struggling with, send me an email, and I am here to help that, here to fix that. You are the paying customers. I am here to help you learn. All right, let's go on a magical Canvas tour real quick. So here's your page, environmental science. My office is an angst. I still think it's angst, but everyone says it should be angst. My in-person Zoom office hours, here's the sign-in, here's the password, here's your textbook link. Again, it's a really cool textbook. So you'll be looking at evolution for the first week and discovering how population has changed. I just think it's a great textbook. So that's your link. Oopsies, that's my welcome one. Where'd it go? There it is. Here is my video for McHugh's tips and tricks for time management. I think it's like 9 minutes. If you want to watch it, it's not obligatory, but you're welcome to if you're struggling. Here's the schedule. Most of this is just from the syllabus, although you'll also have that syllabus linked here once I'm finished finishing it. So every week, you're gonna have a module, and you're gonna go in and it's gonna look like this. Actually, I'm gonna view this as a student so you know exactly what you're looking at. So you're gonna go into module 1, scientific theory, and they're gonna look like this. You're going to have the textbook chapters that you're going to be reading through for this week, the module presentation, which is scientific theory, and here is the video for that. So you'll be watching this one for module 1. You will have a discussion post. So this is your, oh, this might not be. This is just a, please introduce yourself. Ah, super chill, super easy peasy McPeasy pants. Um, your quiz is here. I think the quiz here is syllabus quiz. It sure is. Uh, oh, I'll take the time off. I won't give you a time limit for this, and you can take it as many times as you want. I do not care, but you will have a syllabus quiz. Your first lab. So your labs are going to look like this. Sometimes there's a document to download, and actually in the homework there is. So you will be downloading the homework document for this so that you can just pull it up and you can start writing on it. Actually, for this one, I don't think you write on it. You're going to have your own page, if I remember correctly. But so some things you're going to have to download for assignments, and you'll have a rubric. And then some things you might just start a Word doc of your own. You're going to have PowerPoints to build next week. And some other assignments, you'll have a reflection, some other downloadable things, but they'll all look like this. So you can click on all your assignments. Here's everything that is due for this module. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful and it's organized for you to figure that out. I'll do it at the same time, but you have 2 weeks. You can get started on lab 1 tomorrow and finish it in a week. You can get started on homework 1, finish it in a day, and submit it if you want, or you can work on all of them at the same time and then submit them at the same time on Monday. But you don't have to wait until 2 Mondays from now to get started. That's the whole point. You can do it whenever you want. I think that's it. When you get to modules, I mean, you'll have all of these to get through eventually, and we're going to get through them, and I'm excited. Otherwise, I guess I'll stop sharing. That's all I got. Thank you so much. I'm excited about this term. I think it'll be fun. Please reach out with any questions or concerns. Come visit me. Come look at all my cool rocks. I have lots of them. And we'll chat. We'll see you soon.